Hey friends, this episode of The Business of Agriculture is a compilation of 3 discussions I had while attending FarmCon in Kansas City the beginning of January 2025. It's really cool. It's eye-opening. It's with agricultural leaders that are looking forward to the future of agriculture and how we're going to succeed in it. The first discussion was with Kevin Van Trump of the Van Trump Report, talking about markets, global markets, what's going to impact that. Conversation number 2 is with Roland Fumasi of RaboResearch. Roland has been a guest on The Business of Agriculture, a brilliant mind, and we talked about a few things that are really going to be on his sights for 2025 that are going to impact our industry, namely trade and tariffs, the Farm Bill, and the impact of GLP-1, drugs like Ozempic, and what it's going to do to the demand for agricultural products. My final conversation is with Bob Trogele. He runs a company called ProAgInvest, and we're talking about money. Where is money flowing into agriculture? Where is the investment going? Is the investment drying up? Is there more pouring in? What about biologicals, technology? That's the discussion. You know what? It's a great episode. 3 brilliant minds about the future of agriculture. Enjoy. Attention farmers. Want quick answers to your toughest questions? Meet AGvisorPRO, the innovative mobile app designed just for you. Tap into a network of trusted experts and industry professionals right from your phone. Whether you're seeking advice on crop management or the latest equipment, AGvisorPRO connects you with the answers you need to succeed. Best of all, it's free, so download it on iOS or your Android device. Don't miss out on expert insights that can transform your farming experience. Download AGvisorPRO today and start connecting with the knowledge you need to thrive in the field. All right, we're talking about 3 big things that you should know moving into 2025 if you work in the business of agriculture. And I've got the granddaddy of them all. I've got Kevin Van Trump right here. I'm at FarmCon 2025. This is your conference. You've got 2 great days. You've had speakers. You had panels. You got great stuff happening in the hallways, a lot of energy. It's the beginning of January of 2025. Kind of a tumultuous time. Yeah. First downturn in agriculture last year after the big, huge super cycle we had. What 3 takeaways, 4 takeaways, 5 takeaways do you think a person that works in this industry should know if they couldn't be at FarmCon?
Yeah, I think, Damian, that it's the bears are out. I mean, the bears are out, and I know nobody wants to hear it. We're thinking for a big rebound. I kind of went and did a little controversial field kind of with the soybean guys. Everybody's negative as can be. I've been holding some short bean positions myself. I've blown out. I'm a little worried and nervous that maybe it's not going to be as bearish as they think. Maybe President Trump's going to do a few good things.
But do good things. Here's the thing. Do a good few things. We're oversupplied. It's a global marketplace. Brazil is pumping out, 3 or 4% more soybeans this year than last, and it just keeps going on. Yeah. The American farmer keeps cranking it out. We had a bad year, and we still were at, 52, 53, 54 bushels of, I mean, we got a shitload of soybeans. What good things can we do to make up for that?
Yeah, we got people out there talking 800 million ending stock numbers on new crop. You got, like you said, 20 million metric tons additional production probably coming out of South America. Some guys on stage yesterday talking 30, 40 million metric tons extra coming out of South America. But the damn market doesn't want to break. So, we're sitting here short. We think we should be sub $9 in beans, but it hadn't wanted to break. So there's something. Either the funds want to maybe, if China does some easing, if we get some China stimulus, the funds want to jump it maybe to the upside. There's some reason it's not breaking like we thought. We thought it'd be below $9 before now, and it's not. So I'm just saying, yes, math is never your edge. That's one thing from here. Math is not your edge.
I saw that in your opening slide yesterday.
And I'm worried just from past experience of getting smoked as a trader that I'm nervous at the upside. There's something hidden maybe there. There's something hidden. The market doesn't break a lot. So
but you're a markets guy, and I'm a marketplace guy, and I see a marketplace that is super productive and oversupplied, and I don't see that changing. So are we just in a realm now where we're going to see $4 corn and $8.90 soybeans for the next 5 years because we're just keep producing the stuff?
Right, and I'm a positive guy. I like to look at the glass half full type of deal. So for me, as we become the ancillary supplier like we did in wheat, look what happened in wheat. We're the world's ancillary supplier of wheat. People come to us, after they go to the Costco's and the wholesale clubs, so to speak, Russia, Ukraine, and the others. But when you depend on those countries that are extreme and volatile, you get extreme and volatile spikes. So the more the world becomes dependent on Argentina and Brazil for their soybeans, which is happening, we're losing market share, I think those countries become a bull play possibly. You're going to get spikes. You're going to get these bullish spikes when they have strikes, when they have economic and political
problems. So the person that listens to this that says, and he just went a little over my head because he's talking like a markets guy, what you're saying is the United States is
one of our strengths is in infrastructure. Our other one of our strengths is we don't have volatility. We are a solid. I mean, the worst thing we have is a few people walking around the Capitol building. We don't have nuttiness. So we're a stable supplier. So we might be tier 2 supplier on beans, just like we are on wheat.
Yeah.
But when you need it, you can count on us. Yeah. But that's good. But we're still selling it at $9.
And that's the problem with the dollar. You know, when the world feels that it's political turmoil or there's some geopolitical turmoil,
the dollar gets even stronger.
Flush to the dollar. Dollar gets stronger. If the world gets nervous about supply to some degree on the bean side or the corn side, you know, they depend on the U.S. to come and deliver.
Give me something, Mr. Van Trump, away from markets, and you're a markets guy, I get that has you, A, excited, and then B, scared. So let's do scared first, B, scared.
Well, scared, yeah, for sure.
Away from just markets, when you look at American agriculture, what's got you a little scared?
Biofuel. I mean, the biofuel policy and how it's going to play out in Washington. No one saw the Trump-Musk dynamic duo coming down the pipe. All I worry about is that Musk is all in. He's all in on electricity. He's all in on building electricity. And he's not a super huge fan, at least in the past,
of biofuels.
And
neither is Trump.
No, not really. He's a fan of the farmer.
Trump says drill, baby, drill. Well, you never need to drill for ethanol or renewable diesel.
Right. And people are telling me version 2.0 is going to be different than version 1.0, and maybe with the stroke of a pen is all I'm saying.
Yep.
You could change the bean market.
And we, with a stroke of a pen, we can also
could crush it.
We can with a stroke of a pen, we can do good things or bad things.
I'm with you.
What's your actual out? That scares you a little bit. What do you predict?
I think he's going to try and keep the American. I want to believe he's going to stay strong to the American farmer.
And that means biofuels get.
I think biofuels are going to get support. I think we're going to see some form of support. I don't know if it's maybe going to be as optimistic as some had thought. And like I said, I think we could see a few steps back first, and then I think there's going to maybe be some deals inked with China. I think there could be some crazy, awesome trade policy come out of this because they love Musk.
Yeah.
He's the only person they've let build those two big factories. That's the gigafactory is in right outside of Shanghai.
When you say you meant China. So China's
number 2 guy. Remember this now. Their number 2 after Zai used to be the head guy in Shanghai. That's Musk buddy. They're buds. Now he's become the number 2. So you've got a chance that there's some curveball that comes that isn't as bearish as people have thought.
Except for Musk's only going to be involved in reining in spending. He's not going to be on trade.
I think maybe with China.
But we also
I'm being optimistic.
Well, remember, Hunter Biden wasn't supposed to have a role either, but that's a different story. All right. You were talking about what gets you a little scared is biofuel policy going away. What gets you excited when you look at the future? You've been around this game your whole life. What gets you excited about tomorrow and the future of agriculture?
Well, what gets me excited is that this is where it all happened in the United States. We are the best
innovators.
And invested in innovation. And right here, we got all these ag tech startups. We got some great things coming down the pike as far as new innovation in tech. We believe the longer term picture is lower prices, higher yields. So that's the game you're really in. That's the race your dog's in. Lower prices, higher yields. So you got to try and outproduce it. And we've seen that this year with a lot of producers.
Yeah.
Had big yields, prices were low, but had big yields. So I'm thinking, and it sucks for the smaller farmer because you have to be a big farm to use all the technology to be able to afford it. But I think that's where it's going. And so we got a lot of folks here that are on that page. They're all happy, optimistic about some of the technology they're seeing. We're finally seeing a little technology breakthrough in some things. We've been promised a lot of things and finally starting to see a little traction on those.
Dare I say you just sort of described what commodity production is. Lower prices, more production,
bingo.
Lesser players.
Yes. So you have to decide if you're not a low-cost producer, you have to then pivot a little bit to become a
specialization.
But,
so it's either consolidation, extreme specialization, or diversification.
You got it. That's the name of the game. So I mean that's where I see it. And I think if you can define yourself where you are in that business model or that channel, the sky's the limit because of some of the tools that are becoming available right now. So I see some bright future.
He's Kevin Van Trump. We're coming at you from FarmCon 2025. It's a cool conference. A lot of people out here, a lot of buzz, a lot of interesting stuff. It's beginning in January. I want to talk to you about what the future holds from the man himself, Kevin Van Trump. Thanks for being here, man.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, have a good one. Thank you.
Hey, that was great to hear from Mr. Van Trump. Before we get into the discussion with Roland Fumasi of RaboResearch, I want to remind you that a new year brings hope for improved outcomes on your farm. If you farm for a living, you got to think about how to achieve high-tech plant nutrition and how to get the most out of your crop. You can do that with products from Redox Bio-Nutrients, a family business that's been in business since 1994. Redox provides superior nutrition with biostimulants that are focused on maintaining plant charge balance. All nutrients have a positive or a negative charge. Maintaining charge balance allows your plants to focus on yield and quality with improved performance come harvest time. You can find out more. You can also check out the Redox Grows podcast. I've been a guest on that show. Go to redoxgrows.com. That's redoxgrows.com.
Hey, I'm coming at you from FarmCon with Roland Fumasi. He is with RaboResearch, a division of Rabobank, the world's largest agricultural lender. He was on an episode of the Business of Agriculture, bumped into him in the hallway here and said, you got to come on. He's going to share with us 3 big thoughts for agriculture in 2025. What you got?
Well, I think number one is going to be how this tariff conversation and the trade conversation starts to come out, what those details look like under the new administration.
Okay, you're certainly not the first person, Roland, to talk about the tariff thing. It's all over this conference that we're talking about. In the past, it's been a lot of hype and not as much action, except on the China situation. It did happen in 2019, 2020 on soybeans. Messes up pretty good. So it's almost like it hurt ag a great deal more than the other industries. Is that what you're predicting this time?
Well, we need to see how the details unfold, but I'm particularly paying attention to the talks between the U.S., Canada, and Mexico, because I think how those talks shape up in 2025 are going to set the tone for what the USMCA renewal looks like in 2026.
So NAFTA became a thing, I want to believe, 1994 under Bill Clinton. It worked magically for a long time, and then Trump renegotiated it, and it's worked pretty well since then. A little bit of saber rattling on big tariffs against Canada and Mexico. I have said this would probably be a big mistake because we have a really nice, solid North American trading bloc. We have an ascendant economy in Mexico, 130 million people there, ability to really become a huge ag. They are now our number one ag customer. We don't want to mess that up.
Absolutely, we don't. And I'm hopeful that there is going to continue to be some saber rattling. There's going to be some negotiations where we can actually get some things done around border security and things like that. And it's going to shake out a lot like it did during the first Trump administration, where it all comes out.
Is your prediction that we get it worked out, that we end up with a good deal with Mexico?
Yes, absolutely. Because I think economics end up ruling the day oftentimes, and I think that's the smart thing.
We're recording this on January 8th. Are we going to end up buying Canada, and they're going to be our 51st state? Okay, moving on.
That's pushing it.
Moving on. All right, Roland Fumasi, RaboResearch. Second big thing, big thought for agriculture in 2025 and beyond. Okay, we just talked about tariffs, trade, and particularly USMCA and maybe China. Next big thing.
Yeah, next big thing is going to be movement on the Farm Bill.
Okay.
Right, you've probably heard
we haven't had one for 2 years. We've had the continuation of the 2018.
Yeah, 2018, we're still on it. So it's going to be interesting to see how quickly we start to see some movement out of DC, out of Congress on getting some things done around that. I'm still on the fence. I mean, with the new administration and a lot of these other sort of big fish to fry, does the can get kicked down the road later in this year?
Does it harm us if we just have the existing one? Because I hear some ag people that are more Washington D.C. type say the problem with the continuation is it doesn't cover this and it doesn't cover that. Is that what's the big risk?
That's part of the conundrum. Look, it's not the end of the world if we keep the current program in place for another year, but the way I look at it is by doing that, we're missing opportunities. We're missing opportunities in it, things that need to be improved, expansion of some of the insurance programs, maybe looking at some of the reference prices that are in the 2018 program. So we're missing opportunities, not a huge risk by kicking it down the road.
If we get
make it better.
If we get a new farm bill, what do you want to want made better about it? Insurance is the one we always talk about. Crop insurance is the one we always talk about.
And that's the critical one. I mean, when you talk to really, especially the larger producers out there, the super efficient producers, the vast majority of them talk about the insurance program as being kind of the key to everything. So I think making sure that we continue to make that more robust, make sure that we offer coverage across the board in the right way. I think those are going to be critical pieces to it.
I see any future farm bill having huge amounts, even under a Trump administration, because it's not about the president, it's about the other overriding sentiments and the other politicians having a lot more push to environmental policies. Reduction of nitrogen is one of them I see happening, et cetera. Reduction of phosphorus. Do you see that in future farm bills are going to be even more of a tilt on environmental issues?
I think we are. I think we are. I think right now everybody, after the election, a lot of folks in the industry are going, hey, maybe we're going to take a bit of a pause on some of the green kind of scrutiny out there. That may or may not be true. We'll see. But I think that's a short-term kind of view. I think in the longer run, we're going to continue to see more and more policy that around the environment.
All right, your third thing, Roland Fumasi, RaboResearch. What if I'm an agricultural entity and I come to you and I say, what thing are you seeing in 2025 that I might be missing and that you're concerned about?
This is one that I think a lot of people in the industry are missing, and we need to start paying more attention to it. And that's these GLP-1 weight loss drugs that seem to be catching on like wildfire. Cornell Cornell released a research paper just last week that actually showed that you get one person in the household using the drug, that the grocery spend went down somewhere between 6 and 9%, depending on the demographics of that particular family. That's a big impact to food demand, and we've been talking about it for 18 months on my team. More people need to be paying attention to that.
I started rolling it out 1 year ago. I started telling my agricultural audience, here's something you're not paying attention to, you need to be. We have about 42% of the United States of America population that is obese. If half of that population goes on these drugs, that is 70 million Americans, right? 70 million Americans eating about 25 to 30% less calories each day. Because my research says that's the cutback. This is significant.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to be paying more attention to it. We're going to do our part because I've got analysts on the team that have been diving into it for the last couple of years. We're going to continue to dive into it as things unfold. But yeah, more people need to be paying attention
Roland,
within the industry.
Who gets hurt the worst? I just read an article that Cargill even started talking about how the weight loss drugs, Ozempics and all that, are going to cut back on protein. But protein's actually probably the one. Your man Nick Faraday says protein's going to stay hot. I think it's the processed food that loses out.
I think you're exactly right. The Cornell research did show a bit of a slide in some of the protein aspects, not much. The ones that got hit the hardest were things like salty snacks, for example, those kind of carbohydrate-focused
So if you're in
snacks.
Nabisco or a Mondelez or a Kraft Heinz and you're in the center store, as we say, watch out.
Watch out.
General Mills.
Watch out. Processed food, watch out.
Get me out here. It's January. It's the first week of January 2025. We're recording this. You obviously are all over the place. Anything else on this front? What are you telling people?
I'll tell you what, we're talking about a lot of things. We mentioned the tariff and trade thing at the beginning of this deal.
Is that the biggest one?
It is, but there are many other aspects that we're keeping an eye on in terms of policy shifts under the new administration, the new Congress. That's just one of them.
Tariffs and trade, the issue on the farm bill, and then obviously the weight loss drugs. Three big things to be looking out for in 2025. He's Roland Fumasi with RaboResearch, a division of Rabobank, world's largest agricultural lender. He's been on the Business of Agriculture before. His cohort, Nick Faraday, is also been a guest on the Business of Agriculture. Look for him. Great stuff. Awesome content. Thanks for being here. We're at FarmCon 2025. Till next time.
All right, now we've heard from Kevin Van Trump. We've also heard from Roland Fumasi of RaboResearch. Now we're going to hear from my man, Bob Trogele, talking about ag investment and the flows of capital coming into our industry to advance it. Before we do that, I want to tell you about Gripp. Gripp is an awesome company. I'm really happy. In fact, they were at this FarmCon conference. Gripp has an easier way so you can track anything and everything that happens in your agricultural enterprise, okay? You have asset information. You have equipment that you need to know what's going on with it. Maybe you have employees that you need to then make sure this guy knows what's going on with this guy. In other words, you need a way to get past things like Post-it notes, or endless text. With automatic Spanish to English translations and picture capture, it's no wonder that farmers across America are ditching handwritten notes and texting for Gripp. That's Gripp. Keep your critical knowledge and your conversations on your agricultural enterprise at your fingertips. It does not require an app nor a password. Get a grip on your operation this spring. New subscribers will get 20% off with code Damian20. That's my name, Damian20 at Gripp, GRIPP.ag.
We're talking about where ag investment money is headed in 2025 and beyond. I've got Bob Trogele with a company called ProAgInvest. He's an agricultural guy, he's an entrepreneurial guy, and he's here at FarmCon. So you and I bumped into each other on the escalator. You listened to my show, and I said, you know what, you're exactly what I'm looking for. Where's the money going? I understand that tech investment in agriculture has dried up compared to where it was a couple of years ago. There's still a lot of money on the sidelines. We just heard Kevin Van Trump talk about the vast amounts of capital that's floating around looking for a return. Is it coming to ag?
It is coming to ag. You do see some companies right now still raising a lot of money, Series A, Series B. Some are overcapitalized, which is also a problem because that's a problem for the investor as far as the exit.
Okay.
But maybe before we begin, Damian, I really like your shows.
Thank you.
You always got good stuff, and I listen to you always. And thank you for the opportunity to meet with you today.
All right, so I appreciate that very much. Where you look at, investors are very different than other types of entrepreneurs. You know, other entrepreneurs are always about, you know, how to make something, how to build something, whatever. You're looking at how to invest in something that has wings. Something that has big potential. You got to have balls and backbone to do what you do because you're taking your money, but you're taking other people's money also.
Right.
And so it's like, hey, I got to make sure that I don't burn through grandma's investment here. Where are you going? If I right now said, what excites you right now, first week of January 2025, where you're putting your money and others?
Right. So one of the things that we do is our group puts in money on their own bank account.
Okay.
Right. So you have, you know, the others, you have like VC capital coming from the strategics, right? Those are employees that either stay around or leave the company or go somewhere else in the company. They have no skin in the game.
Yep.
You have the VCs, pure VCs, financial, don't understand the ag world, have money from others and place a bet, right? And the model has been 1 in 20, driven by low interest rates, free money, the last, 10, 15 years.
So by the way, that changes the calculus because in two regards. First off, if you were using leveraged money when money's hanging around at almost free at 2 or 3%, you can almost get sloppy with it. That's just my perception. I don't do what you do for a living. But when money's 7 or 8%, by God, I got to make sure I'm a little more careful with it because I'm obligating leveraged money that now is 7 or 8%. But then the other part of it is, maybe I don't want to invest. If I can put in something that's safe and get 5 or 5.5%, maybe I'm less willing with higher interest rates to even do venture.
And that's exactly right. And that's what's changed. So today it's all about knowing how to pick the right play, right? And we look at the CEO, we look at the business model, we look at where are they financially, hopefully working capital positive already. Some of the financial VCs today won't touch anybody until, they see monetization and, working capital positive. Then, we look at IP very, very closely.
So you get approached in the whole world of venture capital, they swing for the fences, right? They want 30, 50, 70% returns, and they only look at a certain category generally. You're kind of more like, I guess trying to say less swing for the fences. You're more, I want base hits.
That's right.
Okay.
And we're looking for at least a 5x return, in a 3 to 5 year period. I think, we're looking, in 3 categories: technology, we're looking in robotics.
All in ag?
All in ag.
Okay, technology, and that's robotics.
Artificial intelligence.
Yes.
And digital.
Wild West right there, because we still don't know where the hell it's going.
Oh, well, there are companies out there that look pretty good to me.
Okay. Robotics, artificial intelligence, and
digital.
Okay.
And a lot of times they're combined.
Okay.
Well, digital would be, for example, the software.
Okay.
Right. Robotics is more hardware.
Okay.
Right. And then today everybody's running artificial intelligence in there as they're learning from, let's say, when they're going through the field and scanning.
Is it equally split? If you said those three categories, is it 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 in terms of the people pitching you? I mean, if your phone rings 3 times a day, is it one person from AI, one person from tech, and one person from digital, or is it 90 different calls coming in? I got this AI idea. I'm guessing it's probably more tilted to that.
Well, I like when they have all three.
Yes.
Because that adds more value to the grower, right?
Okay.
Because I mean, ultimately, when you get into adoption rate and monetization, the grower's willingness to purchase the technology and use it is a deciding factor.
Okay, I'm going to answer the other question, Mr. Trogele. If I did what you do for a living, it's kind of chicken and the egg. You need investors with money ready to come into ag, and you need ag opportunities that needs money. Which one right now is there more of? Companies that want investment that are banging on your door, or investors banging on your door saying, find me a place to get me a return?
So if I would say the right-hand side, what you just said, more demand from people looking for money, not knowing how to get it.
Yep.
And then I would say when I find the right property, the right asset, pretty easy to get the money. It's what Kevin said today. There's money out there,
yep.
Right? And it's really about your credibility. Now, like one investment we did, which is here at the show, is Emerging Connect, right? So I brought in 6 ag investors. I mean, ag people who are in the industry, have made money, and have also invested in the seed round.
Okay.
Okay. Each one confirmed that investment on their own, doing their own due diligence.
Okay.
So we're 6 for 6.
Okay.
So probably Emerging Connect is probably going to cross the finish line.
What excites you and what scares you as an ag investor when you look at, here we are, first week of January 2025. What excites you and then what scares you a little bit about ag as an investor?
I think right now it's a buyer's market. If you're an investor, you don't want to invest when the market's high and up and expensive. I think the market right now is just, on the buy side.
So it's a good time to be an investor in ag tech.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the opportunities are coming in probably more than I like. Every time I think there's a slow period, I get 1 or 2 calls.
Okay. So that's what excites you. It's a good time to be an ag investor. What scares you a little bit?
Well, I mean, it's risk money, right? So you shouldn't play unless you have risk capital available, right? So I'm not touching my fixed income. I'm not touching my stocks. I'm not leveraged.
Yeah.
This is cash that I have available. And then, if you go in as a group, of course, you split the risk, right? And if you go in with the right group, meaning, my partners are all ag guys. We pretty much can dial down and get that percentage, not 1 to 20, but maybe we get, 3 for 10, or we get 5 for 10, from a percentage standpoint.
Of course, as an investor, you don't need to hit all of them. In fact, you're going to have some turds, but you need one to be a high flyer and a couple others to be good base hits, and then there's going to be a couple that are strikeouts.
Well, one of the things you really have to do is your mentality as an investor. If you're going to work and invest in a company like a startup, is you got to really, make sure that CEO is successful. So that could mean raising money for him. It could mean mentoring, could mean finding talent, could help him with the business model, or opening up your Rolodex and getting him to the right places.
Yeah, well, you're not just giving him a pile. You're not just giving him a bag of money. You're also saying, what's this? A lot of times, I'm guessing these founders of companies, they're really damn good at this, but not these 3 things.
That's right.
So you try to help them do those 3 things.
And sometimes the VCs, the classical VCs, are really good at giving them money, but that's it.
Yeah. Right, and then they let you drop it away. So you're more of a partner and saying, we're going to help you do these 3 things. Last question. Why ag? There's so many other more sexy industries where you could go and give bags of money and probably get as good or a better return. Why are you in agriculture?
My family's been farming for 500 years. I spent 38 years as an executive in the ag industry. I just like the industry. I like working with farmers. I think I understand how they operate. They're all individual businesses. Some of them are very innovative.
So here you are, you're telling me the answer to this is you're just like the rest of us. You're born into it and you just couldn't quite make the break.
Well, I'm also into oil and gas. I'm also into the stock market. So I wouldn't say that. I'm just a serial entrepreneur. I'm a serial investor. And you have to like what you do.
Right. If somebody wants to learn more about this, where do they go to find out more about ProAgInvest?
Oh, well, you just call me. just 215-694-5573.
If you've got money, if you've got an idea and you've got a company and you need money, go to Bob Trogele. This is quick hits from FarmCon 2025. He's awesome. He's an ag investor. We just talked about where he's putting his money, where other investors put their money, and what they look to see in the future. Thank you.
And I really like Damian. You're the man.
I like it.
All right, thank you.
Are you an agricultural company looking to reach farmers and ranchers eager for your products and services? Look no further than AGvisorPRO. This innovative platform creates instantaneous connections between businesses and farmers who are interested in what you have to offer. By partnering with AGvisorPRO, you can engage directly with a targeted audience, answer questions in real time, and showcase your expertise in the industry. Don't miss this opportunity to grow your brand and connect with engaged customers. Join AGvisorPRO today, where farmers meet trusted companies just like yours in an instant. To learn more about partnering with AGvisorPRO to enhance your business, email them info@agvisorpro.com. That's info@agvisorpro.com.